Another morning, another wave of panic. Over what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Congratulations, you've mastered the art of suffering before anything bad even happens. Standing ovation. You call it anxiety. I call it performance art. Tragic performance art. You're terrified of a future you invented, a catastrophe you scripted, directed, and starred in. But here's what you refuse to admit. Anxiety doesn't control your life by accident. It controls your life because you, yes, you specifically, negotiated with it and lost spectacularly. I've watched this pattern for millennia, humans trembling before shadows they cast themselves. And you're not even fighting anymore. You just obey, like a well-trained pet. So let me show you exactly how you became a prisoner in your own pathetic little skull.
Watch yourself for one day. Just one. It's fascinating, really. You check your phone 47 times before noon. 47. I counted. Not because something important is happening, but because silence terrifies you more than bad news ever could. You call that staying informed. How poetic. I call that feeding the beast, one notification at a time. Every ping gives you tiny relief, every like a small dopamine hit, a brief vacation from the void. But anxiety? Oh, anxiety is still there, growing stronger, taking notes, learning your patterns better than you know them yourself. You plan your entire day around avoiding discomfort, like a tactical genius. That conversation? Postponed. That project? Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. That person you need to call? Maybe next week. Or never. Never works too. And anxiety learns. Every single time you retreat, you teach it one beautiful lesson. I win when you run. You think you're protecting yourself. Strategic retreat, you call it. Self-care. Boundaries. Adorable terms. But protection became prison, and you became both the guard and the inmate. Quite the promotion. You've become so skilled at avoidance, you don't even recognize it anymore. You're an artist, a master. You convinced yourself that not yet means eventually, that I'm working on it means progress. It doesn't. It means you're stalling, professionally stalling, with credentials. Let me guess. You built a stable life. How responsible. Safe job, safe relationships, safe routines, safe opinions that everyone agrees with. Predictable, controlled, measured, stable, or stagnant. Oh, sorry. Was that too direct? Should I have used corporate language, growth plateau, consolidation phase? Look closer. Your stability is just fear wearing a suit, fear with a mortgage, fear with a 401k, fear with a 5-year plan. Anxiety loves your comfort zone. It's her favorite vacation spot. Because inside it, you're predictable, controllable, small, manageable, perfect. Ever notice how anxiety screams loudest when you try to grow? When you think about quitting that job you hate, starting that business you dream about at night, leaving that relationship that died 3 years ago, but you're still attending the funeral, traveling alone, creating something that might fail. It screams, what if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not enough? What if you end up alone?
What if everyone discovers you're exactly as mediocre as you secretly believe? What if, what if, what if? And you listen every single time, like it's gospel. You abandoned your potential to keep anxiety quiet, to make it stop yelling. And it worked. Brilliantly. Your life is quiet now. Quiet, small, safe, comfortable, dead. You traded your dreams for peace, but peace never came, did it? Just numbness with a heartbeat, breathing without living, existence without purpose. But hey, at least it's stable. And you know it. You feel it. Every morning when you wake up and your first thought is, already? Every Sunday night when existential dread sets in like clockwork. That's not anxiety. That's regret wearing anxiety's mask. But sure, blame the anxiety.
Let's talk about what anxiety does to your flesh. Your temporary meat prison. The tightness in your chest that never fully goes away. The knot in your stomach. The shallow breathing, like you just ran a marathon while sitting perfectly still. Racing heart at 3 a.m. when nothing is wrong except everything feels catastrophically wrong. Your shoulders carry tension like you're holding up the world. Atlas cosplay. Your jaw clenches so hard you wake with headaches. Your hands shake when you speak up. Your throat closes when you try to say no. And here's the beautiful cruelty. Your body thinks it's protecting you. It thinks there's danger, real danger, mortal threat. But there's no lion, no fire, no enemy at the gates. Just an email, a meeting, a phone call, a social event where you'll have to make small talk. Your body is screaming for survival, and the predator is you. You're hunting yourself. And you're winning. Congratulations, you're remarkably efficient at it. So you Google, how to stop anxiety. Adorable. As if the answer was hiding on page 2 this whole time. Revolutionary thinking. You read articles with titles like 10 Ways to Calm Your Mind. Download meditation apps. Try breathing exercises. 4 in, hold 7, out 8. Or was it 7 in, hold 4? Either way, life-changing stuff. And they help for about 11 minutes. Then it's back, stronger. Because you're treating symptoms while feeding the disease. Like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound and wondering why you're still bleeding. You're trying to calm a fire alarm while the fire is still burning. The alarm isn't the problem, genius. The alarm is doing its job perfectly. The problem is what you believe is on fire. Want to know the darkest part? The part you hide from your therapist? Sometimes you want the anxiety. Because if you're anxious, you have an excuse. A perfectly valid, medically recognized reason not to try, not to risk, not to be seen, not to fail publicly. Anxiety becomes your shield, your alibi, your permission slip to stay hidden, your get-out-of-life-free card. Quite convenient, isn't it? You wear it like identity. I'm just an anxious person. I've always been like this. As if it's genetics? As if you emerged from the womb clutching your chest and catastrophizing? You weren't, and it isn't. Some of you even create the crisis. You sabotage. You pick fights. You manufacture drama right before something good happens. Self-destruction as performance art. Why?
Because anxiety is uncomfortable, but it's familiar. And familiar pain feels safer than unknown peace. At least you know how this suffering works. You've mastered it. You could teach a master class.
Here's what anxiety promised you. Control. Sweet, beautiful control. If you worry enough, plan enough, rehearse enough, prepare for every possible disaster, nothing bad will happen. Right? That's the deal. Wrong. Adorably, tragically wrong. Anxiety doesn't prevent disaster. It just makes you live through it 1,000 times. In your head, alone, before it even happens. If it ever does, which statistically it usually doesn't, but why let facts ruin good suffering? You rehearse conversations that never occur. Imagine rejections that never come. Prepare for catastrophes that never materialize. Plan for betrayals that exist only in your imagination. It's like writing fan fiction of your own failure. And when things go well, when you actually succeed, when the conversation goes smoothly, when they say yes, you don't celebrate. You don't feel relief. You just exhale briefly and then immediately start waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the real disaster, the one you know is coming, because good things don't last, right? You turned your mind into a surveillance state, a security system inside your skull, watching, judging, analyzing, predicting doom, recording evidence of future failures that haven't happened yet. But protecting you from what exactly? From living. Just from living. You're so busy protecting yourself from pain that you protected yourself from everything else. From joy, from connection, from risk, from growth, from love, from the very experiences that make existence bearable. You built walls so high that nothing can hurt you. But nothing can reach you either. Congratulations! Perfect isolation. Fortress of solitude. Population 1. And now you're standing in your fortress, alone, safe, untouched by danger, and also untouched by anything resembling life. The irony is beautiful. You're dying in the safest place you could possibly build.
You want me to tell you how to kill anxiety, give you a trick, a divine shortcut, a magic ritual that finally works. But I won't. Sorry to disappoint. Because anxiety isn't the enemy. That would be too easy. Your belief in anxiety is the enemy. Your worship of it, your obedience to it is the prison. Every thought anxiety whispers, you treat as prophecy, divine revelation. You'll fail? Truth. They'll reject you? Gospel. You're not enough? Absolute certainty. You're not enough? The fundamental law of the universe. But thoughts aren't facts, genius. They're not prophecies. They're not truths handed down from gods. They're electrical noise, signals firing in meat. Your brain generating sentences like a broken printer spitting out random words. And you treat them like scripture. You treat them like messages from the divine. How flattering. Ironic, coming from an actual God. The thought I might fail doesn't mean you will fail. It doesn't mean failure is likely. It doesn't mean you should stop. It just means your brain generated the sentence, I might fail. That's it. That's literally all it means. But you gave it authority. power. You gave it the throne. You made it king. You bowed down. You built an altar. You sacrificed your dreams on it. Anxiety isn't the problem. Your worship of it is. Your negotiation with it. Your complete and total obedience to it is the prison. You know what's tragic. Actually tragic. You'd never let another person control you this way. If someone followed you around all day saying, "You'll fail, you're not enough, everyone will laugh, you should hide," you'd call them abusive, toxic. You'd cut them out, block their number, get a restraining order, tell everyone what a monster they are. But when the voice comes from inside your own head, you call it intuition, being realistic, protecting myself, just being honest. You're in an abusive relationship with your own thoughts, and you keep defending the abuser.
So what now? What do you want from me? You want me to fix you? Give you a formula? A step-by-step guide? 5 easy steps? A divine intervention? Maybe a breathing pattern that finally works? 4-7-8, groundbreaking. No, I'll give you something better, something harder, something you'll probably ignore. A choice, a real one. You can keep living like this, small, safe, comfortable, controlled by electrical signals you mistake for truth. You can keep negotiating with fear, keep waiting to feel ready, keep postponing your life until anxiety gives you permission, which, spoiler alert, will be never. Or you can do the thing while afraid. Revolutionary concept, I know. Speak while your voice shakes. Start before you're ready. Love while terrified. Create while convinced you'll fail. Apply while certain they'll reject you. Try while anxiety screams. Anxiety will still scream. Oh, it will beg you to stop. It will list every reason you'll fail, every way this could go wrong, every person who might laugh, every disaster that might occur. It has quite the imagination. And you'll do it anyway. What a concept. Not because you're fearless, not because the anxiety magically disappeared, not because you suddenly felt confident, not because you manifested courage or whatever nonsense you read on Instagram, but because you're done asking permission from a feeling, done negotiating with noise, done waiting for certainty that will never, ever come. You think courage is the absence of fear? How adorable. It's not. Courage is fear plus movement, terror plus action, doubt plus decision. Simple math. Anxiety doesn't disappear when you grow. It doesn't vanish when you succeed. It doesn't leave when you become whoever you're supposed to be. It just stops being the boss. It becomes background noise, an annoying passenger in a car you're driving, a voice you hear but don't obey, like a toddler throwing a tantrum in the back seat. You stop asking permission. You stop waiting for certainty. You stop treating thoughts like facts. You stop worshiping the voice. You just move, while afraid, while uncertain, while every cell in your body screams, "Stop." And anxiety? It follows, screaming, begging, threatening, listing disasters. But you're already gone, already moving, already living.
Here's what nobody tells you about freedom from anxiety, the part they leave out of the success stories. It doesn't feel how you think it will. You imagine that one day you'll wake up and anxiety will be gone, vanished, poof, and you'll feel peaceful, calm, confident, finally ready, like in the movies. That day never comes. Sorry. But here's what does happen. You wake up anxious, same as always, and make breakfast anyway. Feel the fear, send the email anyway. Hear the voice saying you'll fail, try anyway. Revolutionary. Freedom isn't the absence of anxiety. Freedom is living your life while anxiety screams in the background like a bratty child you're choosing to ignore. It's not about winning the war against anxiety. It's about refusing to let anxiety win the war against your life. Subtle difference, massive impact. And something strange happens when you do this repeatedly, when you move despite the fear, when you act despite the doubt. Anxiety starts to sound boring, predictable, like a broken record, like the same song playing for the 10,000th time. You hear it and think, oh, this again, anyway, and keep moving. That's mastery, not silence, not peace, not the absence of fear, just indifference to its commands, just moving anyway. You wanted me to make anxiety go away, to give you the secret, the cure, the magic formula, the divine trick. But I won't lie to you, I never have. Anxiety isn't the problem. Your obedience to it is. Your belief in it, your worship of it, your negotiation with it. You already knew this, deep down, in the part of you that's still actually alive underneath all that fear. I just said it out loud. You're welcome. So, here's your choice. One more time. Pay attention. Continue obeying, continue negotiating, continue waiting for permission from fear. I'll continue watching. I've got time. Eternity, actually. I've seen this pattern 1,000,000 times. You'll either break it or it breaks you. Statistically, most of you choose the second option. Prove me wrong.
And next time, I reveal the lie that built your entire personality, the story you've been telling yourself since childhood, the one you constructed your whole identity around, the one you'd kill to protect. Because if it falls, so does everything you think you are. Should be fun. See you then.